Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 3 and in this video we are going to show you our presentation about invertebrates. The members of the group are Glorio Brian, Cahya Silvika, Intan Dwi Fahriani, Clara Sekar, Debbie Permata Winarti, Giva Agnia, Octavia Lisa Dwi Putri, and Siti Fatimah Zahra.
Invertebrates: an animal lacking a backbone such as an arthropod, molluscule, annelid, colecentrate, and Thrasera. The invertebrates constitute an artificial division of the animal kingdom, comprising 95% of animal species and about 30 different phyla. Next, Porifera. Animals in the phylum are informally called spawns. Spawns are sessile animals that lack through tissues. They live as suspension feeders, trapping particles that pass through the internal channels of their body. Next, the characteristic of Porifera. And the first is these are bearing multicellular animals. And two, the body has no organs. Three, they exhibit holozoic nutrition. And four, the body is radially symmetrical. And five, they can regenerate their lost parts. Next, example of Porifera: calcareous spawns, hexatinid spawns, and demospawns. Next, Cnidaria. All Cnidaria are aquatic, mostly marine organisms. They all have tentacles with stinging cells called nematoxys that they use to capture food. Cyanidra only have two body layers, the ectoderm and endoderm. Spare part by a jelly-like layer called the mesoglea. Most Cnidaria have radial symmetry. Next, the characteristic of Cnidaria. And the first is radially symmetrical, and the second is body multicellular, few tissues, some organelles, and the third body contains an internal cavity and a mouth, and four is two different form exist, medusa and polyp, and five is reproduction is asexual or sexual, and six is has a simple net-like nervous system. Next, example of Cnidaria. The first is Cyanemons, second is Anthozoa, and the third is Meduzoa. Thank you.
Belum on mic. Belum on mic. Okay, Plazozoa. Characteristic of Plazozoa. The newly discovered species of Plazozoa is Trichoplex. Trichoplex has a small flat body. His body size is about 1 mm, has an irregular shape, although the lower surface is slightly, and the upper surface is always flat. Body of Plazozoa consists of an outer layer of simple epithelium covering the more complex mesenchymal-like cell of some animals. Next, Stenopora. Next. The body is radially symmetrical with a diameter of about 1 to 10 centimeters. Does not have a nematocyst stinger. Has tentacles equipped with coloplast adhesive cells. The tentacles are a pair, has one mouth and two outlets. Next, Cnidaria. The characteristic radial symmetry, diploblastic body, have stinging cells, cnidoblasts on the ectoderm. Cnidoblasts contain nematocysts that function to catch prey. Has two body shapes, namely polyp, tube-shaped body, unable to move freely or attach, and medusa, umbrella-shaped body, able to swim freely. Reproduction vegetatively by forming shoots and sexually by fertilization of ovum by spermatozoid. Next, selanjutnya.
The next topic is Brachiopoda. Next. The characteristic of Brachiopoda is like a palm, has two pieces of shell, live solitary and usually attached to other solid objects. Some species live in holes in sand or beach mud. Food circulation is open. Food in the form of phytoplankton, dissolved particle, and colloid. The nervous system is a ring of ganglia around the esophagus. Reproduce sexually through the gonads and for gamete gland and carry out fertilization outside the body. Next. The next topic is Acanthocapala. The characteristic of Acanthocapala is also called thorn-headed worm with curved hooks and the anterior end of its body. Some species are parasitic by attaching their body to the host. Elongated cylindrical shape, sexual reproduction, and internal fertilization or fertilization in the body. Live and thrive in the wild. Next. The next one is Cycliopora. Characteristic of Cycliopora is microscopic marine invertebrates, discovered recently in 1995. Hasilia around its mouth to get food by creating water currents are heterotroph. They live by preying on other organisms because they cannot make their own food. Found alive in the mouth of a lobster, shaped like a bag without a column, reproduce sexually by conjugation and asexually by transverse binary fission. Next.
Nemerti. The characteristic of Nemerti is 1. Nemertines, also called proboscis worm or ribbon worms. 2. Contains approximately 1,200 species of bilaterally symmetrical. 3. Nemertines swim through water or burrow in sand, extending a unique proboscis to capture prey. They lack a true coelom. Nemertine species also exhibit a wide range in size and length, from a few millimeters to several meters. Nemertines have an alimentary canal and a closed circulatory system. Annelida. The characteristic is annelids are segmented worms. The body wall of annelid is characterized by being made up of both circular and longitudinal muscle fibers surrounded by a moist acellular cuticle. All annelids except lices also have chitinous hair-like structures called setae. Large and well-developed true coelom when that is lined with mesoderm. The digestive system is complete tube with mouth and anus. Annelids have some combination of tactile organs, chemoreceptors, balance receptors, and photoreceptors. Some forms have fairly well-developed eyes, including lenses. Mollusca. The characteristic is 1. Mollusca, including snail, clams, squids, and octopus, have a soft body that in many species is protected by a hard shell. 2. Has a variety of sizes and bodies. 3. Has soft and non-segmented. 3. Is a coelomatathripoblastic. 5. Is an invertebrate animal, has no backbone. 6. Lives in water and on land. Has a condition ring which is the nervous system. 8. Excretory organs in the form of nephridia. Thank you.
Loricifera. Next, the character is Loricifera from Latin lorica, corset, and fur tapir are small animals that inhabit the deep sea floor. Discovered in 1983 off the coast of France by Danish zoologist R.M. Christensen. Loricifera are characterized by an outer protective receptacle called lorica. The armor-like lorica consists of a circular protective outer shell, have a body cavity. Body consists of head, neck, and torso. Size range from 100 micrometer to 1 millimeter. This animal has a total of 10 species. Next, Priapula. The character is Priapula. Priapula are worms with large, round proboscis at the anterior end. They were named after Priapos, the great god of fertility, symbolized by a giant penis. This animal has a total of 16 species. They live in mud and in relatively shallow water up to 90 meters. The body is covered by a thin cuticle and is divided into three parts, namely a tube-like proboscis, torso, and an additional spicule. Priapula worms move with the skin, like worms in general, assisted by layers of mucus. Small Priapula worms can store food and survive by consuming bacteria, while large Priapula worms are we will large Priapula worms eat the bodies of other invertebrate animals, such as polychaete worms and other Priapula worms. Next, Onychoporan. Next, characteristics. Onychoporans, also called velvet worms, originated during the Cambrian explosion. In ancient times, these animals lived in deep waters. When the Cambrian explosion finally happened, these animals managed to colonize to the mainland. Onychopora range in size from 5 millimeter to 15 centimeter, with a homonymous body and small head. Onychopora have fleshy antennae and several dozen pair of such-like legs and mucous blades on their head. They are able to squirt a type of slim or very sticky mucus to ensnare prey. A predator that prey on small animals such as insects. Now this animal lives in the forest, moist forest. Next.
Tardigrades. Next, characteristic of tardigrade is tardigrades are often called water birds because they are run, fat, and walk slowly like bears. The ticrat has a length of approximately 1.5 millimeter, although including animals that live in water. The ticrets can also be found anywhere, usually live in earth with algae or moss. The ticret can survive temperature as low as 272 degrees Celsius and can also live in environments that have a pressure of about 1200 times atmospheric pressure. The ticret are strong animals. The ticret can survive without water for up to 10 years. However, when in a relatively dry environment, the ticret activates a special protein called TDPS. This protein is used to bind or wrap the ticret's body. Next, nematoda. Next, the characteristic is nematodes have an elong round shape or thread-like. Nematodes vary in size from microscopic size such as nematodes in plants to size that can be seen with the naked eye such as nematodes in animals and humans, with a body length between 2 millimeters to 1 meter. Nematodes live as parasites on animals, humans, and plants. Habitat nematodes live in the wild and have a wide distribution ranging from polar region, desert to the deep sea. This nematode is very easy to find in water and soil. Nematodes live by eating organic waste, carrion, animal waste, decaying plants, algae, fungi, and other small animals. Next, Arthropoda. Next, the characteristic is the word arthropods come from the Greek arthro, which means segment, and podos, which means foot. Therefore, arthropods are known as animals that have segments, leg, and body. Arthropods' body size is very different. Some are small, less than 0.1 millimeter to more than 3 meter. Arthropods are free living and parasitic. While the habitat distribution is very wide in the sea, in freshwater, in the desert, and in the grassland. Arthropods include insects, crustaceans, and arachnids. Next.
The next one is Hemichordata. Hemichordates share some traits with chordates, such as gill slits and a dorsal nerve cord. The largest group of hemichordates is the Anthropnesta or acorn worms. Next, acorn worms are live buried in mud or under rocks, and they may grow to more than 2 meters in length. Acorn worms breathe by drawing in oxygenated water through their mouths. The water then flows out the animal's gills, which are on its trunk. Thus, the acorn worms breathe about the same way as fish. Next, the next one is Chordata. More than 90% of all non-chordate species have backbones, which is vertebrates, but also the phylum of Chordata also includes three groups of invertebrates, such as lanceolate, tunicates, and hagfishes. Next, the first one is lanceolates are a row or spear-shaped animals. Although they can swim, they live in sandy and muddy bottoms of warm, shallow ocean waters, and their outer body surface is so nearly transparent, so we can clearly see their internal organs. And the second one is tunicates, are filter-feeding animals with sac-like bodies, and most of tunicate species are sessile. They can live either in large colonies or as solitary individuals. Some species float freely as plankton with jelly-like bodies in large colonies. And the third one is hagfishes, is a tubular animal with pink-gray skin and a paddle-shaped tail. Looks very much like an eel, and hagfishes are almost blind, but they have well-developed senses of touch and smell. Next, and the next one is Echinodermata. Next, most of echinoderms are slow-moving or sessile marine animals. What is unique about Echinoderms is the water vascular system, is a network of hydraulic canals branching into extensions called tube feet that function in moving and feeding. And the sexual reproduction of echinoderms usually involves separate male and female individuals that release their gametes into the water. And living echinoderms are divided into 5 clades. There's Asteroidea, Ophiuroidea, Echinoidea, Holothuroidea, and Crinoidea. Next. Sorry, your mic is off.
Aliens 20,000 species, forms including tapeworms, planarians, and frogs, have bilateral symmetry and a central nervous system that processes information from sensory structure. They have no body cavity of organ or circulation. Next, characteristic of every organ. They are tubular-gastric, amphibian, respiratory symmetrical. They remain between or gastric. The body has a soft covering with or without cilia. They have an open level of protection. Next, Protifera. Protifera non-toxic and species. Despite their microscopic size, rotifers have specialized organ system, including an alimentary canal, a digestive tract with both a mouth and a nose. They feed on microorganisms present in water. Next, characteristic of Tropicera. Tropicera can be fauna, several implement and gross accent, never fully developed and with little sexual development and years before development. Next, Ectopia. Ectopia proposing good sources. It was also at radio or event, like sexual components and for software form. Next, characteristic of Ectopia. Relatively symmetrical body expanded solid layers, tissues and organs, very capacity to cellular coverage, body capacity, mixture with and announced, body normally very at which
So that's it, our presentation about invertebrates. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.